Hi, my name's Alice. I just got my Egyptian residency card. It's quite a confusing process and there are lots of documents that you need. There's a lot of different information online. Some of it is useful, some of it is not, some of it is out of date. They also recently changed the rules and they added some new steps that you need to fulfill in order to do this application. They also recently changed the amount that you need to pay in order to get your residency card. So I thought I would make this video just to help anyone out there who wants to do the same with me and get one of these cards. If you find this video useful, please like it and consider subscribing to help my channel grow. So first things first, what are the documents that you need? The first most obvious document that you need is your passport. Obviously you need this to show who you are. Hopefully you'll have this on you anyway because that's how you arrived in Egypt. You need to take this with you when you do your application. You will need a copy of your passport photo page. Online it says to do 3 copies, but I actually only needed 1. Maybe to be on the safe side, do 2. You also will need a copy of your visa stamp, which is the stamp you would have got at the airport probably when you arrived in Egypt. I only needed 1 again of this, maybe do 2 to be on the safe side. You will also need 1 passport size photo of yourself. It's a very unflattering one of me. You can get these at a Kodak shop, or I'm sure there are other shops. There are loads in Cairo at least where you can get these done. Usually they do 9 at a time. You only need 1, but yeah, you can keep the others for your memories. You will also need a copy of your rental agreement with your landlord or landlady. Try and make sure this is in Arabic and English, just in case a person processing your application doesn't read English. This doesn't need to be for the entire length of your stay. So for example, my application was for a 6-month residency card, but my rental agreement was just for 1 month. That was something that I was quite confused about, and I was wondering, do I need to have it for 6 months? Do I need to sign a contract for 6 months? But at least in my case, I didn't need to do that. Make sure that you have a copy of this that you give with your application. Don't give them the only copy that you have, because obviously you want to keep this for your own records. Another thing that they say online is that your contract needs to be stamped at a police station to make it official. This was not something that I needed. This was totally fine. So the rules very recently changed. There's now a requirement that you have evidence that you have transferred $150 into Egyptian pounds. And when you do this, you get a form like this. In order to get this form, basically you have to take $150 in cash to a bank, go into the bank, talk to a person, don't go to a machine. You will show them your passport, you will give them the $150. They will take a copy of your passport, they will transfer the $150 into Egyptian pounds, they will give you back your passport and the Egyptian pounds along with this form, which basically just says that you have done this at a bank. This is quite a random rule, but I think it's because maybe of the economic situation here. They just want to get dollars into the country. It can be difficult though to get dollars here, so if you are watching this and you're not currently in Egypt, I would really recommend coming to the country with some dollars with you. You should also take with you the price of your residency card, which is currently 7,100 Egyptian pounds. I think it is possible to pay by card maybe, but I would recommend taking cash just in case it isn't. It also depends on where you're applying and what facilities they have. And the final thing that you should take with you to your application adventure is a pen, because you will need to fill out some forms. There are some pens there, but there are way more people than pens. So take a pen with you just to fill in your form. You're going to want to go before your 30 days have expired on your passport. I believe there is some leniency, maybe like a week or so. So if you did go a little bit late, it would be okay. But personally, I wouldn't recommend it. I went, I think, 2 days before my visa was about to expire, and I didn't have any problems. So yeah, you don't have to go super early either. The immigration office where you apply, at least in Cairo, recently changed. So I think it used to be in downtown, now it's in Abbasiyah. I will put a link to where that is in the description. So I got there bang on 8 a.m. and it was already like swarming with people. It took me like an hour and a half to process my whole application, so it took me a while even when I arrived really early. So the immigration office is open from 8 a.m. And I believe it's open every day apart from Friday. But I think maybe it's not a good idea to go on Saturdays because I think maybe they aren't open for something. When you arrive, you're going to have to go through security in order to get into the building. Just one thing to be aware of is that the security is separated by gender. So yeah, don't make my mistake and go and queue up for the men's and then have to get turned around. So once you're through security, you'll go to the 3rd floor, booth number 37. There are lots of electronic screens on the 3rd floor, which makes it seem like you need to have a ticket before you queue up, but for booth number 37, you don't have to. So you just queue up there, you will get given the form that you need to fill in to apply for your residency card. They will also tell you what booth to go to next. So I went to the 2nd floor, booth number 7, but it might be different for you. At this booth, you get a ticket, which is your place in the queue. So depending on what time you arrive, that will depend on how long you have to wait. I arrived at 8 a.m, so I waited for maybe about 40 minutes for my number to be read out. In this time, you can sit down in the waiting area. There are lots of chairs and you can fill in your form. It's quite easy to fill in. They just ask you your like basic details along with your occupation, and they will also ask you on this form how long you want your residency card to be for. So I put 6 months, but you can also put 1 year. It's the same price, whatever time you ask for. So yeah, always ask for like maybe more time that you need. As far as I'm aware, it's like the decision of the person who processes your form, how long they will give you. So some people ask for a year and they get 6 months. Some people ask for 6 months and they get a year. So yeah, it can depend on the person and how they're feeling that day, I guess. So yeah, try and be nice to everyone, I guess. So once your number is read out, you'll go back to the booth and you will hand over your passport for them to look at, the copy of your passport photo page, the copy of your passport visa page, the copy of your rental agreement, and also the evidence that you transferred $150 into Egyptian pounds. Once they have all that, they will give you a form that kind of looks like this. This is basically just like an invoice that you need to pay for your residency permit. So you will then be told to go to the bank and pay the amount. The bank is like directly opposite the booth on the 2nd floor, so you just go there, you queue up and you pay the amount. I asked many times if there were like different prices for different lengths of stay, and everyone I asked said it's the same price. So the price that I paid was 7,100 Egyptian pounds, which equals roughly $150. Once you have paid that, they will then give you a receipt for your payment. You will then go back to the booth that you were at before. And at this point, it's a bit chaotic because you have to like queue up again, but you don't have a place in the queue, which I found a bit like stressful, but it's okay. You just like wait your turn and you'll get there eventually. You will then hand over the receipt showing that you've paid. And at this point, they will also ask you for your passport photo picture, which they will attach to your application. They will also at this point take a photo of you and scan your fingers. They will also hand you a receipt which just says your name and the date that you applied and like a barcode. You should keep this receipt with you because you'll need to take it back to the office when you go to pick up your card. They will also write in your passport just like the date that you applied on. For me, they told me to come back in 1 week. I personally waited a little bit longer than a week just in case, because it's like quite a schlep to get there. So then when I went to pick up my card, I went to the 3rd floor again. I spoke to a policeman and showed him my receipt, and he directed me to go to a booth. At that booth, they asked me for my passport and the receipt, which they took. They take both of them, and they tell you to wait for like half an hour while they process your card. It's worth like waiting around the booth because they call out your name and your like country, but it can be a bit hard to hear. So yeah, just like be primed and like watch the booth. It didn't take half an hour for them to give me my card. It was about maybe 10 minutes. And then they gave me my card and I was like good to go. So yeah, that's everything. If I've missed anything or if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I'd be really happy to help and answer if I can. And yeah, good luck with your residency application and living in Egypt. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.